Hello, everyone. I'm glad you're here. I haven't done a live in about 10 days. A lot of personal stuff going on. And what I like to talk to you about is there's this show on. It's called Mob Show. And there's this guy named Al. And Al basically runs that show. And I've had some people sending me stuff on Al lately because everybody's been wondering why Al's so involved in these shows and why is the only show he's doing pretty much about me. Well, right here up on the screen, this is Al used to have three shows. This was his first show that he had. And he was working for Team A Light. Thank you, Tom. He was working for Team A Light. And at that time, that's when Bald Sicilian and I got along. And this is what Al wrote to me and Bald Sicilian. Lee Cole, Fat Bald Sicilian, two total assholes who are dependent on mob guys to finance them. Let me be the first to kick both their asses. And then basically, he erased this channel down. It's no longer up. So one thing we know about Al, he originally came on here working for Team A Light. And then he had a second channel that he put up. How you doing?
Hey, what's up, Lee? Good to see
Yeah.
you. Just enjoying coronavirus right now all week. Get to lay at home, though.
I'm sorry to hear that. I hope you feel better. Corona's doing a lot of damage to a lot of lives right now.
Thanks. I hope Deanna's doing better, too. For those of you out there, it's no joke. It is a real thing, and it lets you know to be all the more vigilant about your health and your life and to oppose communist China any chance you get.
Okay, no politics.
I know. I had to throw that
no
one
politics.
one
No
part
politics.
in.
No politics here.
Politics.
Okay.
Now.
Yeah. Okay. So basically, Al put this up attacking me and Bald Sicilian. Then he had a second channel where he was making these little shows, and it flopped. And then he starts this third channel. So here you got Al, who works for Team A Light, and you have all these people going into his chat room, and they're saying, "Great, you're attacking Lee." You know, you had everybody in there over the last couple of days. You had Fat Bald Sicilian in there telling him what a great job he's doing. But you know what? He works for Team A Light. What's up with that? Yeah,
it's so hard to keep track with who's on what team now.
Yeah, and you know what? Maybe he doesn't work for him no more because people switch sides, as people know I've done. But the fact of the matter is that he started this off working for Team A Light, attacking me and Bald Sicilian, and he's continued his attacks on me. But now Bald Sicilian is his friend. You can't make this stuff up, can you?
Yeah, you know, it's definitely a reason why it's called Drama Tube or Clown Tube now.
Oh, it definitely is. And you know, I'm going to pull up. If we're going to talk also now, explain to us about Merlino and what you wanted to talk. We're going to get back to this, but I'm going to be pulling some stuff up, and I wanted you to talk to them about Merlino. Yes, and explain to him what. Just explain to them what happened. And it was on Halloween, you said?
Yeah, back in '89, Halloween, there was the infamous shooting, the attempted hit that was done on Nick Scarfo Jr., Nicky Scarfo Sr.'s kid. And this was pretty much right after Nick Scarfo Sr. was sent away for the 100-something years he got. And so it was time for battle to see who would take control of things. And so Nick Jr. gets shot at point blank range inside a restaurant, and the gun is left at the scene. And I've been hearing these guys all week, these supposed mob experts, these guys that apparently can't even use Google because, you know, talk about the whole thing, and then they don't know why that happened. And if they would think about it, they would think, well, wait a second. Is there any movie out there where the guy shoots somebody and leaves a gun at the scene? Oh, yes, The Godfather. Okay, so Nick Scarfo Sr. was a big fan of that movie. And so whether it was Merlino who did the hit or not, nobody knows to this day because the guy was wearing a mask and he did get away. The guy was trying to send a message to Scarfo Sr., that, they left the gun at the scene. They were basically mocking him. And, at the same time, they were going to try to take out his son, which his son's now in prison. So that problem took care of itself. But, these guys all week, Lee, I've been seeing shows talk about that, and none of them seem to know why. They're asking each other, too. Why do you think he did that? These guys, it lets you know right there that these guys don't even understand LCN in its slightest, or could even use Google, apparently.
Yeah,
but that's a very interesting story.
Well, go on with it. Finish it off.
Well, really, that is the story there. I mean, the Halloween '89 hit was the culmination of power struggle that had been going around in the Philly underworld at the time for a few years. And, Merlino's faction was never a big fan of the Scarfo guys, and then there's the other stuff too with it. And, Merlino's people saw their shot and they took it. And with Scarfo Jr., he backed away after that. And from Scarfo Jr. fled to New York, became a Lucchese, I believe. So he left Philly. So it accomplished the goal.
Well, interesting, because you wanted to come on and talk about it, because a lot of people have been talking about why was the gun left at the scene. And people, listen, I pay extra really strong internet. Tony's show is down, and you have people making fun of them taking this guy's show down. Now, Tony's is a worst enemy. He uses a lot of racist terms, and he swears, and he does a lot of. Now, basically, he put up this show for tonight. First of all, what he did is you're not allowed to threaten another YouTuber's show, which he's doing here. But Al doesn't care, because Al is here to cause trouble. He doesn't care if his show is taken down. But here's what he writes. Tony Pizza gets taken down. Is Lee Cole next to go? How to get rid of Lee once and for all. So either he's threatening me physically, or he's threatening to have my channel taken down. Which one do you think it is?
Well, I doubt that he can handle you in a ring. So I'll go with option 2. And look, it's a low ball move to snitch out other guys' shows, no matter what it is or whatever. It's just part of the whole clown tube aspect of this, Lee. That and the guys, if he doesn't like the competition, he should just build a better mousetrap or whatever the issue is. Rather than doing this cancel culture kind of tactic. But that's what people do when they can't beat you, typically. So,
and that's what they're doing. This is now they were talking to their chat room, and what were they going to say they were going to get me on?
Well, basically, it sounds like they're going to go after the language police, the PC stuff, and all that's in the eye of the beholder. There's some words that are obviously blatantly racist or whatever. But then there's a lot of words and terms that are not, or they're in between. Some people say yes, some people say no. But we know how it is with cancel culture types. They will always interpret those words in the worst possible way if it goes at their opponents.
Thank you, James. Al blocks for William Perry, the refrigerator. Yeah. Hey, listen, and also one thing to understand is that what they're using right now is they're using leftist tactics. They're accusing me of saying racist stuff, which I never have, and they're accusing me of just, this is how they're going to try to get my show taken down, because they're cowards. See, FBS plays this game like he's some kind of tough guy. But here he is laughing and mocking that Tony's show is taken down. This is after he pays them off to go away. And now
Huh.
he's in that room of Mob Show Report, and he's telling Mob Show Report, "Oh, you're doing a great job." He's shouting this guy's show out. See, this is it. They don't have enough guts to take you on face to face or even calling my phone. This is what they love this drama. It's not, people say, Lee, why do you put up this drama? It's called defending myself, people. If I don't defend myself, they'll walk all over me. And Michael, you said it right. Perfect. FBS's nice guy persona isn't fooling me. What a fraud. Do you know how many people that I get that call him a rat? I mean, people on the internet because of what he did last week or 10 days ago. And and then he'll go on his show and say,
other people's shows is a rat move. Period.
And then he'll go on other shows and say, I'm going to take, he claims that you people that are here to see me self-destruct. That's what he thinks you guys are here for. He thinks I have no people that like my show. And yet, every time I put something up, I get good views. And I'm not here doing lives every day begging for money. You don't see me with a Cash App. That's not what this show is about. This show is about just trying to put the truth out there. And if you look at what they've done, they brought my son on. They have called me a child molester. They have used every trick in the book, and I'm still here, and I haven't lost a sub. And it's tearing them up that they can't take this old man out. But that's what they are. And it's funny now because FBS is working for one of John A. Light's lackeys. Tell me that's not funny, people. And he'll deny it tonight. But yes, this guy, Al, works for John A. Light. And that probably means Josie works for John A. Light. It's like, this is what we're dealing with, people.
Don't tell Angel that. She'll stop putting comments in his videos.
Al has everybody fooled. You got to give him credit. All these I love Gotti, I hate John A. Light people are in his chat room because he's coming after me. They hate me so much that they don't care. They don't care whose side they take. They just want Lee out of the way. That's what it comes down to, people. And you're witnessing it. You're seeing it. It's not like I'm exaggerating. Look at these shows they put on. Friday night is the night they like to hit me. So tonight they'll come out with, maybe they'll find somebody that I put in a cemetery years ago. That's what they'll claim. Or maybe they'll find some child to put on and call me a child molester. These people are freaking evil.
They'll bring on a dog that's really old, claiming that it used to be your puppy, and they'll try to get him to bark his way to slandering you, if that'll work.
Jimmy Rocco, we all heard FBS threaten to rat Tony. Okay, John Rocco says we all heard FBS threaten to rat Tony Pizza out, and then he did.
Yeah.
And now Tony's not around. Yesterday, Tony's show just magically disappeared. He had a show up. He was ready to do a show yesterday, and all of a sudden he disappeared. You know why? Because these cowards, what they do is they go after, and they probably said Tony, and this is Tony's fault for using racist terms and swearing and threatening people. You can't do that. And it's obvious that that's what they used against Tony. It caught up to Tony. I wish I was wrong. But then Tony started turning on people that were even donating money to him. So Tony was his own downfall. But see, these people have to understand, I am not Tony. I will not make the same mistakes as Tony. And FBS, you're a coward, dude. Call me on my phone and stop going online and putting your whole life online in front of everybody. It looks ridiculous and you're becoming a joke. And you'll never have anybody of worth of significance to interview because they're going to see you doing these feuds with me. And how bad do you think this hurts a guy like FBS's channel getting into these battles?
Well, at this point, It worked for him for a while because anytime there was controversy, it was building up the channel. It was helping yours a bit too, and anyone else he fought. But now it's at a point where it'll be very counterproductive because I think the audience in general is sick of it. And for this mob show report guy, I put out an interview with Ori Spotto yesterday where Ori was positive as can be. He hasn't done a review on my show with Ori. If he really is doing mob show reports, where's he out there saying that, hey, I just watched the interview that Mob Entertainment Group, the new name for the channel here, did with Ori Spotto. And Ori was talking about all of us putting this crap aside, me, Gene, A-Light, everybody else, putting every difference aside and working together. Mazza, all of us. And where's the review of that show? There is no review. And that lets you know who controls the show now. And FBS has gone down a similar path. He has a voice or two controlling his show, and it is what it is. So it's going to be counterproductive. He's going to fight other people's battles, and it's going to cost him instead of them.
And people, you can see the show that I did yesterday. I put out a show where MRE basically said that FBS was stupid in the way he's doing things. And what did FBS do? Because he has no balls to say anything to MRE. He went on and did his show last night attacking me. Because, I'm just the old man he can attack. But here's another thing they don't realize. By some miracle, if they got my channel taken down, that means that you will never see me. That would be the worst thing that would happen to any of you. So you guys can keep playing this game. You keep it up. You got your little idiots in the box, and you got little Carlos there and those fools. But that's who they are. They're just a bunch of fools. And they're foolish to even think that you care about anything, dude, because you don't. And I know you're looking at this right now, and you're probably at work getting all mad with your little fake heart problem. 20%, dude, your heart doesn't work 20% because you go to work every day. You smoke like a fiend, and you're going to come on here and tell us that your heart's working 20%? Really, dude?
If his heart worked 20%, he'd be laying in bed most of the day. Because that means he's not getting oxygen to his cells. And it's 20%. Maybe it's 20% less than 100, meaning 80% works, but not 20% works. But that's not my battle. I could care less. If he wants to say what he wants to say to promote himself and get donations, whatever his thing is, that's him. But I think the audience is going to see through it, and they already are. And the reality is that there's only so far that these guys can go with their little group.
Yeah, they're stagnant. See, nobody wants to, and I'm stagnant too because of the same thing. I'm defending myself when these idiots attack me. So it's definitely going to hurt my channel. But the same thing's happening with, you have seen no growth in FBS's channel in a long time, like over a month now. Since he did his interview with Jimmy Calandra, he got a little bump. Then he got a little bump after that doing something else. But it's not going to grow no more, FBS, because this is the path you chose to take, to go behind people's back, to go in chat rooms. You are personally trying to hurt this show by being a sneak. You go in, all these shows that have been coming after me, he's been in every one of their chat rooms, just sitting there saying all these negative things. I seen everything that he said when my son was there that day. The guy's a punk. That's what he is. He's literally a punk. And I'm sorry to say that. You take over, my man. I'm giving him a lot of stuff to talk about tonight.
Yeah, say it, Lee, say it. So all summer long with my channel, and Lee knows about this too because they were doing it to his. They report everything. Anytime I use even like more than 8 seconds of movie clips, my whole video gets warned for a copyright strike. So I got to take them down. And I've just been playing around with it, trying to figure out what to do while I waited for Hootie to give me the full release of the channel, which he is now. And these guys are going to see. I've talked to some of my homies out here that got big channels, 75,000 viewers, subs, 100,000 plus subs. they're going to start having me back on like they did, months ago when I was trying to grow my channel originally, or the Hootie and JC show. And they're going to see it skyrocket. You had to do something similar. They were hitting your stuff where you're having to constantly manually, turn on the monetization, because when how it is when they're reporting your videos, the YouTube goes to a default setting where they won't monetize your stuff until it goes through formally. So when you're being mass reported if that's happening. And Lee has had it done to him. I have it on every single video still, but it is what it is.
Well, people, I'm going to make an offer right now to FBS on this channel. I am willing to drop everything, not even mention your name, not even say the other guy. Just go away and let you do your show. That is what I'm offering you. But you know what? You won't do that. You won't do that. You know why? Because your videos have gone down. Your busiest video, his best video he's had in the last week and a half was the one where he put me being raped. That Gunsmoke did, and he replayed it. That's his best video.
Is that video still up, Lee? Is that video still up?
Yes.
Okay. Well, there you go, guys. Is Lee out reporting? Is he flagging their videos? No. He had a video portraying him as being great, and he still let it stay up.
But see, I don't do that. I don't go after these videos. Al's video I went after because Al is basically saying how to get rid of Lee once and for all. That's a threat.
You and Al need to go into the ring. You and him on a.
No, I'm too old for that shit. Let me tell you something. A guy like Al, I would I'm not going to say what I would do to him. But a guy like Al, I wouldn't waste my time. I'm too old to be hitting people.
I'm being facetious, but if I was in a ring with you guys, I think you could handle him.
Well, I'm afraid. Just look at him. He talks about me. Would you trust your child with him? Take a good look at that guy. And then Josie's sitting there, and Josie likes to use the term, and this is what liberals do. Josie loves to use the term that they're going after my race or my color. No, Josie, nobody's going after your race or your color. No matter what color you are, you're nuts. You could be pink, blue, white, anything. You are nuts. Your whole life on these channels is attacking me. That is what you do. And then you say, if he leaves me alone, I leave him alone. So today I'm saying right now, I'm willing to leave you alone if you leave me alone. And I'm saying that to FBS. As for Mob Guy, I don't care about Mob Guy. It's obvious that Mob Guy is probably some type of rat that got caught and he's playing these shows for the feds or something. That's Mob Rat. This guy, a Mob Show Report, not Mob Show Report. This guy right here. It's obvious what's going on with him. Why is he opening channels and dropping channels and just disappearing and leaving his stuff? These are the people the feds use. These are the people that watch your channels, and they love this. They love all this fighting going on. They're eating it up. John A-Light is eating this up and laughing his ass off because he knows that FBS can be gouged into an argument easily. I put up a video yesterday where MRE attacked FBS, and he comes after me because he doesn't have the balls to say to FBS, why did you say this about me? FBS said it about you. MRE said it about you because it's true. You picked a fight with Tony, and he whipped your ass, and then gave him $100 to go away. Tony ran out of money and said, wait a minute, this ain't a good deal. Then they had a show, this joke here, Al, had another show last week where it said, why doesn't Lee send $100 to Tony also? Because Lee's not that stupid. Lee would not send $100. I won't send $100.
It's always funny when somebody dares you to do something stupid, and when you don't do it, they say you're a coward. It's like, no, I'm actually smarter than you and the clown you wanted me to do that to.
And don't get me wrong, if people want to help help Tony, that's fine. But Tony was eating clams and lobster and was staying in $100 a night motel rooms and not finding a place to live. So it's obvious Tony has no problem with the way he lives. And he was taking the money and using it to have a good life. You know, he was living day to day. Tony's one of these guys that lives day to day. That's just, there's people.
You know, see, that's another
Tony's
thing, Lee, with the whole Tony thing. You know, these guys were praising him up until a few days ago. He was saying just as bad stuff up until then. What changed? Oh, I know what changed. His opinion of them changed. And so they struck back.
Yeah. And now they got him out of the way. So they figured, okay, they're going to come after me. But guys, here's what you don't realize. The worst thing you could do to me is have my show taken down. Because then you'll never know who I am. That'll be the worst thing you could do. But go right ahead and try it.
All of a sudden, there'll be a show out where a guy's wearing a Spider-Man outfit talking about mob stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, and right. You see a fat Spider-Man?
Yeah, I know. If
probably
you see a Spider-Man guy in the future talking about mob stuff, we know who it is, right?
Yeah. New Beginning says, New Beginning. I'm going to explain something to now they're saying that New Beginning and I are that's my channel. New Beginning used to come after me. I mean, horribly. They actually got me on recordings, played recording of me talking to them on the phone. They hustled me a couple times. I have nothing to do with this channel. But the reason that New Beginnings is not like FBS is because they see that he's a bully. That's what he is. He's one of these like cushy, soft guys that thinks he's a tough guy and he's not. He's the guy that was on the street when he was doing drugs, was probably be the last person you would trust in the world. That's who this guy is. And he is so happy right now that I'm attacking him because he's going to have a show tonight and he's going to make money off his little buddies there that's going to give him tons of money. But that's fine. That's good because I'm not going to be one of those suckers. Okay, MRE didn't attack him, Lee. He was just talking about how to deal with people like Tony and how to deal with the threats from trolls. It's me. Basically, you and I were listening to different stuff then, okay? That's basically what it comes down to.
Yeah, it's me. I've seen your stuff before. You always make apologist type statements like that. And you're a hater anyhow. I've challenged you and others, by the way, to tell me how I'm wrong on certain stuff. And you guys never step up to the plate and back up your bullshit allegations. Just like same thing you do with Lee. You know, the fact is, MRE, you could tell in his voice, let alone his words, he was saying FBS has some issues.
Mobland, you are all about FBS. Why would I let you on? I see some of the stuff you say in the chat rooms over there about me, dude. Hey, listen, MRE, you might say MRE is a keyboard warrior, but at least he's consistent. You know, that's what it comes down to. And he says who he is. He says, I would never go meet anybody about a fight. Callie G's, before Tony's Pizza channel went down, he was beefing with me and then exposed two of his former friends' names, images, and phone numbers, thinking it was me. And he said, JC wanted my info. Anthony, well, I hate to call you that, dude. I don't know why anybody would want to use that dude's name. But the fact of the matter is that Tony was his own worst enemy.
I know what he's referring to there. And 2 weeks ago, I had made a quick video asking who a voice on the phone was, telling him that there was a guy who told Tony Pizza that I was behind all these profiles, similar to how they blame you for that. And so I wanted to find out who it was spreading the rumor. And then I found out that the guy was simply repeating something he heard. And I said, okay, no big deal at this point. And I guess this dude had a problem with Tony Pizza the other day. And so Tony Pizza was like, JC, here's the guy. Here's who he is. And I'll say the same thing I said a week and a half ago. I don't have an issue with the guy. It's, I found out he was simply repeating something, and it is what it is. There, he wasn't starting the rumor. I want to find out who's starting that shit.
Well, here's another thing. They keep looking for stuff in my past, and I have a lot of stuff on people's past. I get all the time, including him, but I don't use it. You know why? Because I actually would feel bad using it. It's like I won't dox people's phone numbers or do any of that shit.
He might say
it.
A week ago, Lee. I got an email from somebody threatening to quote unquote expose me for having a DUI and shit like that. And I'm like, dude, I've had this stuff out for literally 4 or 5 years. I give talks in front of young people a lot in California, telling them how you can go from being a boss to being a street addict in no time at all if you don't watch yourself. I wasn't a street addict, but I was pretty close at a certain point. I fully admit it, but they were trying to send a message, Lee, and I let the person know in no uncertain terms that they can go blank themselves. You're not going to blackmail me. My criminal past is mine, and I talk thoroughly about it, and I'll get into it more. They want to do that to you, too. They think they're going to back you down with that. One of the reasons why we're all out here is because we're actually trying to help. And part of helping is letting the people know this is what we did, this is why, and this is why you shouldn't. So for you out there who want to blackmail us, forget about it.
And last night, FBS spent half his show telling people how good he was, how much he cared about people, how much he wanted to help people. People that are good to people and want to help people don't talk about it.
Yeah.
You just, you don't have to try to sell yourself. I'm sure you're a good guy at times, but for some reason, I get you goat, dude, and you're being vicious with me. The shit that you're having these people, you're involved with it. There's no doubt. You're always in. Okay, let's talk about Stacks. He's always in Stacks' chat room whenever Stacks comes after me. Would he usually go in Stacks' chat room? Would you think?
FBS or into No Rax's chat?
You hardly see anybody in there. I mean, but whenever Stacks does a show on me, they all go there. They all show up. Jimmy Calandra doesn't.
It's becoming a little club, and again, they'll get some viewers from it and some subs, but not beyond MobTube, quote unquote, which is what, a few thousand people, 3,000, 5,000. It's not going to go beyond that. And if you notice, does No Rax ever talk about going to talk about his own crimes?
Okay, wait, Anthony, this is for you, I guess. Why is JC going around asking people, specifically Tony Pizza, for my information, said he doxed some guy thinking it's me and said it was for JC?
Hey, Anthony, why do you ask loaded questions that are filled with untruths? Well, I didn't go around asking people specifically for your info. Frickin' when I heard this,
and how can he go?
Tony that?
But see, this is, you're not even the real Anthony Raimondi.
Yeah, who knows who that guy is? But if he's the guy that I was asking about, I didn't go around asking people. I asked for Tony. If you want to run your mouth, if you're the guy claiming I'm behind all these profiles, I'm going to confront you on it, big guy.
Okay. Well, here's what Jules, how you doing? Jules says trolls do that, Raimondi. That's what trolls do.
You know what? Basically, that guy's asking, why can't I harass you and harass Lee, and you guys just take it and not, try to find out what's happening to you guys? Why can't I just harass you? No, fuck off. We'll take care of that.
Alex, you got blocked by Crewmel's not here today. So I don't know what you're talking about. I'm actually watching the chat room right now. And I'm not blocking nobody, unless I haven't blocked one person yet, just so you do know. But FBS will make it sound like I block everybody because I don't want them in here to watch the shows. Okay, and that's the thing. Trolls. We have to understand. Trolls own FBS. Everything the trolls do, he believes. He believes it's me. And it ain't me. But he is on this thing. MRE told him, the trolls are making you think it's Lee, and you're falling for it. And yes, the trolls have gotten me. You know what I did to a troll when I first started this? I handed a troll. A matter of fact, I think it was the one that's in here right now that they say I'm part of. I handed them my wrench because they came in as somebody else, and then they took everybody and put them and blocked them all. I made mistakes with trolls. That's what trolls do. They're good. They're really
Yeah,
good
you
at
trusted John Wolf for a minute, and look.
it. Yeah.
Hey,
John Wolf, yeah. John Wolf, I'm done with
is
John
like a
Wolf.
machine gun on a swivel. If he's pointed at an enemy, perfect, great, keep it going. But if he's aimed it back in your direction, boy, you better duck.
I'm gonna see, James. I'm gonna tell you one thing. To be honest with you, I would never ask you to unsubscribe to somebody. Never. Whatever decision you make, but I will never tell anybody.
Well,
let me finish. I will never tell anybody to go on no one's show, to go away from somebody, or to shut someone's show down. I would never do that. So if that's what you want to do, you could even tell FBS and have a discussion about it. But but this is what FBS has to remember. Your shows become stagnant. You can't deny it, FBS. Your views have gone down, and so have mine. There's no doubt. And the reason why they're going down is people are getting tired of this shit. They're getting tired of me and you fighting all the time. They're getting tired of all of this. They're getting tired of me and you, dude. Not just me. So I'm saying to you today, let's just put it to rest. Drop it. I dropped it for about a week, and then all of a sudden, your little clown friend there comes out with the rape video, and then the following day, you're playing it. You and I did not even say nothing to nobody for a few days, and then you're there pretending that you're apologizing, and then you tell people the next day how great of an acting it was. It wasn't great. That's the last time you got over 4,000 views on that video. And yes, I do watch your views because I'm watching your show go down and down and down. You're never going to get to 5,000. You're never going to be. And here's the shame part, FBS. You had that opportunity to get there. I'm going to take it, and I'm going to come at you with everything. And I'll make sure that nobody, let me finish. I'll make sure that nobody goes on your show. I'll make sure that you won't get any interviews, just like you could do to me. Is that what you want? Because that's what we're going to do to each other. We're going to destroy each other. I'm sorry. Now you go, my man.
So the point I was going to make here, tagging on to that, is that for those out there who think that I don't live by the same standards I promote for others, or Lee doesn't, I will say this publicly again about Sonny Money. Stop making videos disrespecting Calandra for no reason or going after his family. Stop. Don't call Damian Trites a snitch when he is not one. We hold. I can't control Sonny. Neither can Lee.
Yeah.
But you know what?
Sonny,
still try to stop that stuff.
Yeah. Sonny can't control Sonny. Sonny can't control Sonny.
Right. And
okay.
So
I want to answer.
We don't want to have bad standards.
Kevin Weiss says, Lee, how many times have you guys said this? You guys do this every week. You know something, Kevin? I wasn't even saying anything to them. I was putting out videos, and all of a sudden, Gunsmoke put up a video of me getting raped. The following day, I made fun of it and put it back because I thought it was funny. And then the following day after that, out of the blue, FBS showed up and then put that up and was standing there. He was sitting there acting like an idiot. No, it's like, I'm telling you, if he left me alone, I'd leave him alone. But he's not going to leave me alone tonight. Let me tell you why. It's Friday night. This is money night for him. So he's going to come after this video on his show because he wants to make money tonight. That's what's going to happen. Guarantee it. He might even take it into tomorrow. And then for Sunday, he'll say, okay, I'm not going to mention his name no more. See, that's the difference between me and him. I don't live for the chats. I don't even have a money app. That's the
Kevin,
difference.
if you made that statement 2 weeks ago, you would have been correct. But I've been sick with Rona this whole week, so I finally get to actually listen to these shows. That's what happens when you actually work or run a business. And, Lee had kept quiet the whole week despite being attacked. His kid was on the other show, on Stack's show. He still didn't really respond there. He said he loved his son and kept it at that. But again, Kevin, if you would have said that 2 weeks ago, I would agree with you, but not this last week. Lee was laying low pretty well, and now they're sort of pulling him back in with this crap. And I guess we'll see what happens from here if everybody can calm it down.
It's me. Lee Cole, you have said this more than I can remember. Hey, it's me. Do you remember FBS saying it? You live in FBS's chat room, dude. So don't come here trying to say this shit to me. But you know the difference between me and FBS? I'm not blocking you. Do you know that FBS can still come in my chat room anytime he's not blocked? But he blocked me from his chat room over a month ago.
Yep, me too. And Stacks
Yep.
blocked me, but Stacks and FBS can come on my page. In fact, Stacks
Same here. None of those guys. Yeah, none of those guys are blocked here. But yet we're blocked in their chat rooms. And then FBS will say,
I will debate them. I will debate any of them, and I'm sure Lee would gladly debate any of them too.
And he walks around talking about what a great debater. People, you see me debate. The last thing, that guy has so many fucking weaknesses. The last thing we need is a debate because it will get real ugly. And when he came in here to debate me one time in my room, it was while he was running his show at the same time. It was a setup. That's why I didn't let him in my room. But if he wants to come on here and say, okay, Lee, let's just put this to the side. That's it. It'll be over. That's it. He can come in here right now and say, okay, Lee, I agree. It's over. Let's stop. But you know what, though? If you agree to that, you better not be talking shit about me in these other rooms that are attacking me. Because that means you're still doing it, dude. Callie G. Lee, he will never stop talking about you because you are a source of money for FBS. Now you know Callie G, right?
I talked to him now, and yeah, he's a good guy. He was a real one, I can tell. He had a good pot business in the San Francisco Bay Area to about 4 hours north of me. And I can tell he had game. He's a legit guy. Real sport, too.
And to be real about Callie G, he came after me real hard in the beginning.
Yeah, he didn't like you initially, Lee. Now,
then he started opening up his eyes and seeing things, people. I wish more people would do it. But Callie G, he knows I ain't no saint and I do stupid stuff. But I respect the fact that he comes into this chat room and he let me know how he feels about the things I do. And that's that. And Darren says, Deliverance Lab. Yeah, it was Deliverance Darren C4. And but after he did that, which was funny, after FBS said, okay, I can make some money off of this, and wrote delete and put my name in the middle of it, Deliverance. And then he was joking about it. So, it was funny when it's done one time, but then when you have this guy coming and doing it, he's breaking all protocol. That was a beef between me and between Gunsmoke, and he got involved on purpose. Okay. Why did John Panisi and NBA break up? I don't know. Dude, Mickey, you got John, you know why John Panisi's not on here no more? Because the government shut him down. They told him, you know what you're going to see, people? You're not going to see any of these rats getting out of jail, out of prison anymore, getting on here, because the government's going to not let it happen again, especially after what Pasqua and after what Panisi did. What do you think about that, what Pasqua and Panisi did?
Well, I don't know Pasquale, but I have talked to Panisi. And yeah, Panisi, I'll just say he's a sly one, okay? He was one of the ones who wasn't a fan of Hootie and I having a kick-ass show either. And so him and a few others behind the scenes. Tom wasn't involved. and or whatever. But Panisi
Yeah,
also.
but I don't know if Panisi would really care about that.
I think. Look, I'm pretty sure I know one of the main reasons why they broke up. But Panisi's a weird one too when it comes to deviancy and some of the stuff he said to girls online. And I think it got back to Tom from one of them in particular that he said something to. And the girl in question is not a mob fangirl, none of that. She's a legit singer, actually does fairly well for herself. And she was just a regular person. But I'm pretty sure it got back to Tom eventually. And when I heard what he had said, I was disgusted.
And talking about
Panisi doesn't like that I'm saying this. Panisi can talk to me directly. I will deal with them myself.
And when we talk about Tom, just so you know, I think Tom has such a much better show without him. And
yeah,
I've actually become a fan of his, and I've been watching him. And I didn't do that. Panisi I found very boring. Tom I find much more interesting and much more intelligent.
yeah.
That FBS apology with the rape was uncool. Yeah, well, that was just him trying to be a funny guy. Haha, purple emotion. That's okay. And if you want to take any of these questions, feel free anytime, my man. We just worry about yourself. SBS does not care about you. Dude, you don't even know what you're talking about. He doesn't care about my channel. He spent his whole show last night talking about me. His whole show. So So go back to your little FBS channel and talk to him about this. Callie G, the truth, people, Gunsmoke quality videos have gone down a lot since he has become, we try hard to get to 1,000 and become monetized. And when Gunsmoke got to 1,000, I was glad he got to 1,000. I even called out his show. But I'm very disappointed that instead of continuing with his show and start doing interviews and stuff and building his show, he decided to go in another direction. And now he's just throwing out videos to insult people that don't like Jimmy Calandra or FBS. He's there using his videos like he's some kind of bodyguard. And the quality of his video work has gone down without a doubt. What do you think of Gunsmoke?
He was onto something with the Calandra stuff. And, then he goes over FBS has the Angel Gotti thing. And now Calandra has called out Gotti for the 302 stuff. There's going to be a big, it's a cluster right now. And I don't think it's going to last once Angel makes it clear that she doesn't want Calandra's stuff around there. Because at a certain point, she's going to be like, she doesn't forgive anybody. It's over with. Jimmy will never be able to come back from this with her.
What do you think about everything going? What do you think with Jimmy coming out and actually standing up for himself and saying that he thought John Gotti was a rat? Do you think that really put a lot of pressure on him dealing with that, with those other people that are in the Gotti camp?
It will if it hasn't already. And you know what? Kudos to Jimmy for standing up to her and standing, and stating the truth. I don't hate or dislike Gotti Jr. I've always said that his snitching was way less problematic than anybody else, but people don't seem to hear that. And Jimmy's going to find out that even if he tries to clarify and say, hey, what Gotti Jr. did wasn't as bad, they're not going to hear that. And Calandra's going to be moved away from that whole group as Angel's sway over FBS gets more pronounced.
New beginnings for allegedly unemployed FBS. And once again, new beginnings in my chat room. I'm not associated with new beginnings. New beginnings, out of all the little channels, is actually growing, outgrowing them. And if you are part of my channel, please, they do really good work. And they and whether you think that I'm part of new channels or not, which I'm not. New beginnings, I'm sorry, new channels, new beginnings. They put up good quality stuff and they put out stuff that people won't. If you're in my room and if you haven't subscribed to that channel, please do so because they actually deserve it. Because they actually put up good quality stuff. It's not like this mob show guy who's just going after one guy. I mean, and that's all I like to say about that. And people could take that any way they want. Okay. Let's see. I'll let you. Jenny says you have him up a while ago as well. I'm sorry. Okay, let's see. I'm gonna let you answer this Callie G one. Uh, let's not even talk about ass kissing episode about John Gotti's birthday. Oh my God. I wonder what comments are in the comments section of that video for it. The panhandle. Tell me what you thought. Tell me what you thought of that. Okay, he only heard from his group of people, but what was the main thought about that Gotti birthday show?
All right, Callie G's is 100% on this because, you know, it would be one thing if all you did was say that, hey, you know, from a gangster point of view, he didn't snitch or whatever. But they made it out like he's a saint or a man of honor in general. No, he is not. He had a guy sawed in half.
I don't want to talk over his
kid.
I don't. No, I understand.
He did a lot of bad stuff, though.
And of course he did.
He did a lot of bad stuff. And only a fanboy is going to actually praise him like that. Guys like myself and others who are around LCN or associates or whatever, we don't look at Gotti Sr. as a fanboy. We see him as just another colleague, if that. And we also judge him from a much more critical point of view of how he wrecked things.
Let me ask you a question. What do you think John Gotti would have said if he seen that video?
He would have puked. Gotti Sr. would have said that it came off cringy. You know, they're praising him. He would have been like, you know, he's got an ego and all that, but I don't think he would go for that still. It just wasn't, it wouldn't have been done in a way he would have liked either. So, but I don't know him personally, never would have, never did. Didn't know any New York guys back in the day. So
Shorty's calling someone a thief. I don't know. Shorty, I don't know you. So can you explain to me what you mean?
Yeah. You got to clarify it a little bit more, Shorty. A little clarification.
Okay. If you're calling me a thief, I've never said I wasn't otherwise. Okay.
Yeah, and I've stolen before too. So okay, all right. If she's calling me one, just in case, Lee.
Mickey whispers, FBS is Hungarian. Don't let FBS fool. I don't know what he is personally, to be honest with you. He says he's Sicilian, so I'll take him on that. I don't agree with Tony in the car, him being Iranian. That's just Tony being at his best. As for the Hungarian part, I have no idea. I know a lot of Hungarian people that are really good people, though. Yes, Josie playing the victim card. It's boring. Josie, if you see this, you got about 200 to 300 people that like what you say, and then you got about 2,000 to 3,000 that can't stand what you say. That's what it comes down to. New beginning for allegedly unemployed FBS. Notice how they aren't reading my super. Dude, I just read your super chat. What are you talking about?
Hey, not only did it read it, but I answered it, clown.
Yeah. And you know,
got more.
It was red, dude.
Hey, you got a bargain for that $4.99, bro.
I guess Nick Petro left us. I'll be embarrassed to ask him, Tony, for $30. Nick, if you really need it, send me your Venmo. I don't know anything about that, and I'll stay away from that.
They're doing Venmo deals in your chat, bro.
Yeah. You know what? Hey, listen, if someone wants to lend somebody money, that's their business. That's nobody else's business.
Hey, nice.
You know what? And if Tony's nice enough to lend some of that money he gets, God bless Tony. Okay, dude says, Jules says they won't do it, Lee. They need drama. Like they said, you need it, but it's not true for you. They're the ones that need the drama to stay relevant. You know, the reality is this is my first live in 10 days. And they were mocking me yesterday, saying I won't go live because nobody will show up. But it's 2:00 in the afternoon, and there's 170 people here right now. So that's just 170 people in the middle of the day. I guess nobody showed up. And I can come on every day and get 170 people. I really could do that if I wanted to. But, you know, when you have people mocking you and saying that, you know, the person that you care for is sick and then that I'm stealing from her or something, they come up with these stories. without no evidence.
Yeah, where did my goodness, that really blew me away because, the allegation is one thing, but the person who said it gave no clue or indication of where they conjured up that idea.
And then on top of that, but you know what? They don't understand. They could say whatever they want to me. They said the worst thing they could say to me. They said I was a child molester. So you can't make me any worse anymore. You could say I stole. You could say that I beat the shit out of my kids. You could say that whatever.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, I never hit any of my kids. But maybe I should have. MRI would eat him up without a doubt. MRI. I don't want to ever go up against MRI. MRI. Okay. Real Wolf on Wall Street says antagonizing career criminals and killing that crying wannabes are mean to them. Seems and well, that's what everyone watches. And that's what people don't understand. People say, "Oh, the drama," but the drama sells. And drama makes a lot of money for FBS. That's why he loves the drama, and that's the reality. As a businessman, he's going to do the drama. You can't blame him. And Tony says, yes, why is he avoiding the question? We already asked the question. I'll even go back. Let me see.
Yeah, go up and pull up his stuff.
Okay. Yeah, we already went over this.
Why is JC going? Hold on, I'll read it since he wants. I'll read it. Okay, one more time, Anthony. Why is JC going around asking people, specifically Tony Pizza, for my information? Said he doxed some guy thinking it's me and said it was for JC. That's not what I was doing. And I don't even know who you really are. So how the hell am I doxing you?
Perpetual motion. Lee, you're better at covering true crime. I understand you're addressing this, but can you sail past FBS stagnant channel if you put your work and do your actual shows? Yes, but you got to understand though. It's difficult when you get attacked and you don't fight back, because when you don't fight back, people think it's true. When people start calling me a child molester and I fought back, if I didn't do that, if I just kept quiet, it would just be assumed that I was a child molester.
Yeah, there's certain things that people need to ignore. Like if some idiot calls you a dumbass or something, or some nobody is yelling at you, that's different. But when you get into being called a chomo, things like that, you have no choice but to answer that. Or if and the next thing they're going to do is obviously going from rapist to racist. That's what the next thing they'll try, and he'll be forced to answer that too. Watch.
So and next thing you're going to see, Josie's going to lead the front. We know why that is, because she's a leftist. She's going to lead the front, and she's going to call me a racist and say, I said, last night, FBS said that I said something about maids being Spanish. Sorry, majority of maids are Spanish. I hate to burst your bubble. But,
hey, Tommy Stiggs had a really good comment. He said he'd like to know how many of us in this genre actually were in the life or part of it or whatever. Very few. Like basically me, Calandra, Gene, Hootie. There's, I guess, Panisi would be too, and there's A-Light and a few others, Gunnar Lindblom. But most of the people are just fanboy commentators. Yeah.
And I've always said, I worked, see, people can't say, I've worked for John DiGiorgio. Has anybody ever heard, now John DiGiorgio is the uncle of Angel Gotti. Have you ever heard Angel Gotti say Lee's lying that he never worked for John DiGiorgio? You never heard that. You know why? Because she can't say it. She knows I did.
You know what? She did try to say the other day, I'm pretty sure in a chat, that, he never worked for our family. I'm pretty sure I saw that. Maybe she was talking about somebody else, but I'm pretty sure they were saying you. But that's to be expected from her. She, if you were on her good side, Lee, she would be saying, yeah, Lee was a great guy for us. He's a friend of our household, all kinds of positive things.
But let's understand, and let's understand one thing. Working for John DiGiorgio, I did very little. I did like meaningless stuff.
Sure.
It's not like I was one of them. I wasn't. I couldn't be. It'd be impossible. you know, and that's just the way it is. And never would I be claimed to be involved with what they were. I mean, they were involved. Remember when Lehman's Brothers crashed?
Yeah.
And that was part of the Gambino family, and these other families were involved with Lehman Brothers, and they drove and when everything went down, the Gambinos were involved with that. I mean, they were actually they had people working inside, you know, and that's what John DiGiorgio did. He worked inside of that.
Yeah, you know, the reality is that a lot, even the stock firms that weren't direct LCN influenced, a lot of the mentality is there with the other ones. It's about getting rich, and that's it.
Mark, and I want to answer this. I did a show yesterday, and I actually said I thought MRE and Jimmy Calandra had the best shows, and I've had a beef with both of them. But in the reality, if you look at their shows, if you look at how many people like their shows, I'll give you an example. MRE, he'll come on, and at times, like he put me on a few times, and people got on his case for it. No one ever said to him, "Why did you bring this one on and this one on?" They just said, "Why did you bring Lee on?" And that was always the case. You know, if you're pro Gotti, you don't want Lee on MRE. MRE had me on. MRE and I got into it real bad a few times, and he still had me on. And then MRE calls me a silly old man. He calls me names all the time.
Yeah, and look, yeah, exactly. And same thing with me and MRE. You know, I put out a couple videos a week ago, but all I was saying was, you know, how his argument tactics are. And if you're going to talk to him, this is what to expect. He didn't take it offended. He wasn't offended. Neither am I about whenever he jokes around about me. You know, and I appreciate what he does for the most part. I disagree with him on the 302 thing, but everything else, the guy pretty much, despite his language or whatever else that these PC people would normally not like, but they're cool with him because he attacks a lot of their opponents. Aside from any of that, I think he does a good job with this. And if you're the same Marky Mark that I have heard of that went to prison in California here, salute to you for not snitching.
Callie, it's me, says Callie, just because I don't like you doesn't change my view of MRE's talk. Okay, well, hey, it's me. You said you've been negative toward me and him, but I haven't. If you did that over in FBS's room, that psycho with the wrench, Carlos, would block you for life. I mean, that's all Carlos does. Is if you say the littlest thing, if you question Angel Gotti, what does Carlos do? He blocks you. And if you come in, if you're a woman, what does Carlos do? He sends you a batch of roses. That's one.
Yeah, you can tell that guy he lives at mom's house or maybe his older sister and her husband's house. You know, that kind of mentality is exactly why why he is handing out roses to women he don't know.
Okay. Anthony says, JC, Lee Cole keeps reading my comments out of order. He also reread my super chat twice, causing confusion. I accept what you said, was just asking. Salute. Anthony, and if I miss something, please send it. You don't have to send me a super chat. Just write it down and I'll make sure. I apologize if I miss something.
Anthony, we did that on purpose, hoping that you would send another $4.99 to Lee. It worked, Lee. We got him.
Yeah.
We got him.
Anthony, I don't sit back here waiting to be drilled by these super chats, to be honest with you. And if I don't see it, it's nothing personal, and I apologize. But I do appreciate it. Okay, this
Carlos
says
should be more concerned about the 2 front teeth that he's missing. Maybe he can tell Santa he wants them back for Christmas.
And he makes fun of my teeth.
Yeah.
Go figure that one out. Okay. I'm so gangster, I'm in from just knowing myself. Okay, South Philly. Brooklyn guy, Vinny Bracco, why do you get involved in FBS's drama, then come into Lee's chat acting like you aren't up? One thing to be fair to Vinny, I've never heard Vinny say anything negative toward me when he goes in other rooms. Vinny's just one of these nice guys. And, I don't know how he sees things, but I enjoy going on his shows.
Yeah, Vinny seems like the kind of guy that can get along with almost anybody, and and all that. So anybody who thinks because he likes Lee, but he also likes so-and-so, that to read anything into it, they need to.
But eventually though, Vinny, they will get on your case for, like you've said to me yourself, Vinny, that you're nervous about having me on your show because people might get mad and stuff like that. I'll have anybody on this show, including John Alite. I don't give a shit. No one's going to tell me who I can have on my show and who I can't. And that's the way, these are our shows. We have the right to choose that. Lee's grown on me, R.A. I'm glad to hear that. Okay, if they ain't coordinating 302s, then they're lying about to get jacked. You know something, Real Wolf, 302s are very interesting because everybody has different opinions about them. I just found something out about a 302. Maybe you could tell me if this is true, JC, that when you do a 302, sometimes you don't know you're doing it. Is that true?
That you don't know you are?
Yeah.
That's not true at all. You do a 302, you know it. And so that's the equivalent of debriefing behind bars where they go sit with a prison guard for a few minutes. It doesn't take very many tips. It doesn't take but 2-3 minutes for especially a boss with the info they know. Gotti Jr. could have said, so-and-so runs this, so-and-so runs that, so-and-so runs that. And the FBI could walk away and they will be like, don't worry. They'll never find out that we got the tip from you. Thank you for leading us in the right direction. And that's exactly how it worked with them.
Matt Collier, she said that your son went on Stacks. Yes, my son did go on Stacks. What did my son say? My son said, I didn't do drugs. I didn't drink. My son said, yes, it's true. I have an education. Yes, I was a criminal. Yes, I made mistakes as a father. But he didn't come out and say anything really bad about me. And he's taken more grief for doing that than I have. And me and him have talked since then. You know, sometimes children and fathers and sons get mad at each other. You know, that was something else totally different. And they caught him on the right day. He decided to do the show. But if you listen to that show, and Stacks loves it, he has 3,000 views off of it. Look at Stacks' busiest shows, Ramondi and me. Whenever he has me on or Ramondi, Stacks gets views. And that's, you know, so I'm sure Stacks is going to do another show about me. But you know what? I don't blame him. I put that video out of him getting beat up all the time. He hates that video. He pretends he doesn't, but he hates that video.
Okay, Matt Collier said that Angel said that you didn't work for the family. Okay, so I did see that right. Angel said that you didn't work for the family when she was on Stax's show. That's what.
Okay. What does she? Okay. Okay, and what does she know about who works for her family?
Yeah.
What does she know? Does she think John DeGiorgio's retired in Florida, Angel? You are you telling me that you haven't called him and asked him? Call him. You told me that he's a hermit now. So you're calling him a liar? Are you calling Glenn Bernardi a liar? Those, you know, two guys.
The Brooklyn guy had said in another comment that you can be tricked, I think, into a 302. No, you can't be tricked into it. If you got to walk in there voluntarily. You know, it's real easy to tell the cops, the FBI, the DEA, ATF, I have nothing to say to you. Bring me back to myself.
This is the same guy that did fraud and left his kids. Laugh out loud. Who are you talking about? Did fraud and left his kids.
Is that Rahm Emanuel in his picture? Speaking of frauds. Oh,
no,
okay.
that's not that. No, that's not right.
I was going to say, it looks sort of like
Joey Electric. First of all, I don't think you're Joey Electric. And second of all, are you talking about me? Because yes, I've done fraud quite a few times. And I've heard remarks yesterday that Lee's never done fraud over $2,000. Bullshit. You know, yeah, I've done fraud, but I never left my family. Real money comes from scamming insurance companies, not slinging coke as an addict. Perpetual, you said it, man.
Hey, professional, don't be saying that out loud too much. Whatever your racket is, keep it to yourself if it's working. People will steal the idea.
He's smart though. He's professional. I just hope you're not driving behind me or driving in front of me, or going to jump in front of my car. Yeah, if you do that,
he's looking for guys driving, Rolls Royces and stuff. He wants to get into accidents with them.
Vinny says, I'm not. Hey, Vinny, if you want to come into the show, you're more than welcome. Just let me know. Okay. Wolf on Wall Street says, Lehman crash from them is the most absurd thing of these podcasts. Are you saying that Lehman that the mafia wasn't involved with Lehman's? They were part of the crash. Whether you want to believe that or not, it doesn't matter. Leak hole full. Okay. So right there, you're losing all your credibility. So, right up there, you say that, and then leak hole full. Because I just said the mafia was involved with the Lehman Brothers collapse. Everybody was robbing everybody back then when everything collapsed. Don't you understand that?
Lee, notice how if that's all he can try to nitpick at you for is a statement like that, whether it's true or not, that shows that you're obviously being truthful on a lot of other stuff. He ain't hitting you on anything else. He's hitting
Yeah.
Who cares?
That means he doesn't know much. Just because he has Wall Street in his name doesn't mean he's an expert.
Yeah,
I could
there, buddy. Yeah,
I could put Lee Cole, ex-third baseman for the Yankees. It doesn't mean I played third base for the Yankees. Here's Marky Mark. He's kind of tough. So let's see. Tommy Stings are the real guys are here, brother. Believe me. They just talk all this crazy shit. You see a lot of these people do. I heard you say you did a county bid. Okay, who did a county bid? I mean, do you realize that if you go to Rikers Island, that's considered a county bid?
Yeah,
do you realize,
no doubt. Hey, Marky Mark knows what's up from California. If you've ever been to LA County Jail, you'll know it's the size of a state prison. Okay.
Yes.
LA County. I'm sorry. More than one of the LA County compounds are the size of a state prison.
And on top of that, if you ask anybody that goes to state prisons, they fear before they get to state prison more than the actual state prison.
Yeah, and you know what? Exactly. The first time I was in county, I was 18, and I was talking to the older guys, and every one of them was saying how they can't wait to go to prison because the food is better and all kinds of conditions are better. They can walk. You can go outside. County jail. The only I can speak for Fresno. Yeah. The only outside you get is going to the top of the jail, working out in a cage. It sucks.
Oh yeah, and a lot of county jails don't even have that.
Yeah,
because they just don't.
Crap here. You're just an inmate. You're just a number.
Okay, why don't you answer this? Texas Ranger says Stacks can't interview people.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Every other word. Yeah, man. So what's up, man? Yeah, you're right. He can't interview him, man. Notice how No Rax doesn't ever talk about his own stories too. Let's hear about No Rax's racketeering career.
Okay, Vinny, you should have Stiggs on tonight. I'd be in. Okay, let's see. Now they're guessing what Wall Street too freaking funny. Oh, real Wolf on Wall Street. So you're an expert.
By the way, real Wolf, just so you know, I was hired by Morgan Stanley and initially to work out of one of their offices here. I was trained on cold calling and all that shit. The only reason why I left was because the guy who referred me found out that Morgan Stanley was doing some shady stuff. And this was just before 9/11, actually. He was trained at the World Trade Center. They used to fly us to New York and then back out here. I never went that far because I left. Why? Because I was told by an insider that Morgan Stanley was one of many firms that was corrupt from the top down. So a lot of them are. Lehman, Cantor Fitzgerald was one of the better ones, but they lost half their staff on 9/11 when the plane hit them. So the good ones get killed, the bad ones didn't. It's weird how it happened like that. But the reality is there's a lot of crooks in that business. So don't act like they're a bunch of saints or that. And there's
also
out of line here.
There's also a good article out called The Wall Street Gang. It's an old article from back when the market crashed back during that time. And it talks about the mafia's involvement with all the big houses.
Yeah.
Yeah, Have you ever seen Boiler Room? I mean, dude, you're living in the
You
fantasy
know what?
world.
Morgan Stanley used to, they had us watch Boiler Room in our training. No bullshit. They did. And I know the others did it too.
Of course, they're playing down the role, Lee. It's because that's the real Wall Street guy who didn't cooperate. Well, God bless you if you didn't cooperate, dude. Respect to you. MRE best show for sure. Funny guy. I like his laugh. That he has this, like, when he gets like devious, he has this little laugh that he does. Okay. Texas Ranger, easily the worst interviewer around. Who's a Texas Ranger?
Yeah, he's talking about Stacks. Yeah. Hey, I thought you were Stacks' friend. No, I'm joking. Yes.
But I come very well from this thing. Tommy, you mentioned Richie, the boot cousin of mine, was Jerry Cantina's go-to guy. And I'll bet you the guy people, I mentioned Glenn Bernardi, I bet you people don't even know who that guy is. See, you have to understand the mob has a lot of people behind them that are the money people. Those are the guys that the mob love the best. Those are the guys that they don't kill. Very rarely do they kill those guys.
Yeah, the mob figured out that you can get a lot more time robbing a bank this way than robbing it using one of these. You rob a bank with a pen, you get way more money and a lot less time.
Mark did a 40-month bid. Was that in county? No, that's a joke. That would be 4 bullets. I don't know. Do they call them bullets out in California when you do a year? In New York, they call them a bullet. Like you
in California, we used to refer to anything in county jail as summer camp. And then going to prison, we called it going to war, being drafted because you're getting sent to battle. This is 1990s California, though. 3 strikes law. The prisons are being flooded. New prisons are being built. I think 15 prisons roughly were built just by Pete Wilson alone. Then you add in Gray Davis and Arnold Schwarzenegger, the 3 governors where we had the strikes law. And you'll see that it was a war zone, and it's calmed down a bit now. But we called it summer camp or going to war.
Tommy Stig said, enjoyed you on Armchair. Thank you. I enjoyed that interview. It was so professional, and he asked me solid questions. They have the best mob content. I like. They have this show called The 4 Horsemen. I like the way they put it. Did you see that yet?
I saw a thumbnail for it. I haven't watched the show. I know how Tom is. I like Tom. He's a smart man, and he's he look
they
how
were
quick
3 hours less.
Bounding too. He's doing well.
And he was on 3 hours last night. By the end of that show, he was blitzed. I mean, he was literally, you could tell he drank too much wine. But that's the fun part of that show. Those guys get together. Vinny's part of that crew too, Brooklyn Vinny. And I enjoyed it. I watched it. And plus he had an interview before that I watched. And that's the show that, I have a certain type of show here that people come and see it, and that's that. But FBS, that's the show you got to worry about, is that show, LaVecchia. That's the guy that's going to take your people, not me. I know, you're right. Okay, let's see. Well, I just seen, what's his name here? Shinebox. The collapse is due to mortgage-backed securities and people not able to pay their mortgages. Wall Street created these securities, not the mob. Once again, Shinebox. I said the mob was part of the collapse of the market. If you don't believe me, Shinebox, read that article that I just said. It goes into it thoroughly. It was a Forbes magazine article. So, yes, of course it was our government. You don't think the mob's involved with all those people? How do you think they're making their money now? Now they're making it online and they're making it through these insurance companies. I mean, that's where the money's at. Are you saying that the mob had nothing to do with stealing money from Lehman Brothers? Because you're wrong if that's what you're saying. Never did more than 6 months in county, then went to prison, the battlefield. What does he mean
See
by
there,
that?
Marky Mark. I can tell he's from Cali because he definitely, in my area you go to Corcoran. In Southern Cal, you go to Chino and places like that. So up north, you go to Quentin. It's not a fun place. Any of them are. None of them are fun.
Don Vito has a great point here. There are some Gambinos that did an online scam and made over $700 million prison. Exactly. Now, when you do stuff, you get charged with a white collar crime, and then you might even get out of that if you snitch. So you could literally steal $700 million and go to jail for a year. So would you, for $700 million, are you willing to go to jail for a year?
For 5 years? Yeah, of course.
Yeah, even a year, you know. Cuban says, Lee, serious question. Do you know what reverse proffer or innocent proffer is? I'm going to leave that to the expert.
A reverse proffer. So a proffer is when you give a statement to the feds. So what do you mean? The feds are giving statements to you, like feeding you information? That would still be snitching because you're working with them at that point. You're coordinating with them. Now, unless you have them bought off, if you're bribing politicians, you're bribing cops, that's a different story. But clearly, Cuban is talking about a situation where they are in control. If they're in control of it, it's ratting.
Yep. Well, Cuban, great question. I appreciate it. And Cuban, he'll come on this show, but he goes on. He also goes on FBS's, but I would never say to Cuban, don't do that. Okay. Or I won't block you like some other shows do. Cuban, you would be blocked if you were known to, if don't say nothing to Carlos. Armchair's a class act. I believe he is. I mean, he's a single father. I mean, he's a married man, has young kids. He has, he talks about his children. Yes. Don Cole 3, you don't have a portrait of George. You have a portrait of George Washington. You can name some of your least liked presidents. My least liked presidents. Yes, I can name my least liked president. He's in office right now.
Every time a new leftist gets in office, I have a new least liked president.
Yeah, you know how bad Biden is? I miss Obama.
Yeah, you know what? Obama is actually a moderate Republican based on today's standards.
Yeah. Obama wouldn't let the left do what they're doing. They're doing it to Biden because Biden doesn't even know what day of the week it is.
And Dave, one thing you guys all have to remember, and this is a lesson the mob taught me years ago, as well as Marcelo from the cartel, that these politicians are all, at the end of the day, negative no matter what, and they're all nothing more than puppets who've been put in. And we got to remember that Obama was there for a reason, just like Bush Jr. You can go all the way back, and you're going to see that nearly all of them have unfortunate ties to things that we don't really like. And at the end of the day, you'll see that that's the reason why the mob bosses said, don't waste your time arguing with your friends over these people, because you're just going to get into an argument. You're going to end up hating people who could be your friends for what? Puppets that'll be gone. It's not
Antonio.
worth it, guys.
Antonio, this is a good one because I want to tell you a little story. The Gambinos were involved in phone cramming in the 1990s. One thing I do know that they were involved with, remember those phone cards they used to have in the 90s?
Yeah.
John DiGiorgio used to hand me stacks of them, and he would tell me to go to places, and half of these would be empty, but we would go to bodegas and stuff, and we would sell all of them, and we would let them see the ones that were working, and they would actually pay for all of them, and we would sell them. That was what the mob was doing back then with those phone cards. They were making millions of dollars off those phone cards. And they own most of those companies, by the way, too.
They had a lot of those 900 numbers back in the 80s and 90s, too. The don't tell your parents you're dialing the $3 a minute line.
Yeah. Schwarzenegger's father was an actual SS Nazi, and like the military police. Yeah, it's true. I don't want to say the word, but you are right. He was, Schwarzenegger's was. And Schwarzenegger, what did he say the other day? He's saying that people don't have the rights, they have to listen to their government and stuff. he's pathetic, is what he is.
Yeah, you know what? I met him when he was running for the recall here because I was working in Republican politics at the time, and I sat down. We're married at the time, Stephanie, and we're sitting there at a local bar here. He was going from table to table. When he sat with us, first thing he does is he starts staring at my wife's chest, and he's like, "Oh, hey, good to meet you two. I mean, you guys, And I was like, like, what, this fucking guy?
Well, listen, he was married to one of the most beautiful women alive.
Yeah.
And he was banging the maid, and they had a kid together. And did you see what the maid looked like? I mean, it wasn't like his wife was drop dead gorgeous. I mean, his wife was a Kennedy, a hot looking Kennedy.
Hey, somebody asked if this was before or after DUI. Check this out. I had one DUI when I was 20. I was underage. I had been drinking, and I left the house after, having a party. And then the next one was the one in 2011. So I guess we could say both, JoJo. How do you like that? Like I'm going to avoid that question.
Anthony has a great response here. Shinebox, yes, but even more so, credit default swaps, insurance, or multiple different baskets of assets. And once one person couldn't pay, AIG and everyone else couldn't, causing the collapse. Thank you, Anthony. That's what we're trying to explain here. And everybody had their finger in the cookie jar. Finger, I got a hand there. JC, will you ever put our video back up when you were in Reno chasing around the black drunk guy calling him the N-word, and when you were degrading women all wasted?
What video is he talking about? I have my Reno stuff up, you clowns. It's up there. And by the way, with that whole N-word thing, for those of you out there from the far left, you need to remember something. That word has been marketed to America for the last 40 years in our music. And you have 2 or 3 generations of guys now raised listening to that. And if you're such a sensitive individual, go tell your pals in the music industry, your liberal friends in Hollywood, to stop pushing that word on people. Tell them to stop using it and stop getting rappers to say different things and other negative stuff too while we're at it.
So let me ask you a question. So it is true?
No. But you know what? I'm not afraid to say it around black guys that are friends of mine.
Okay. Well, I just keep it out of I just prefer to keep it out of my mouth.
Yeah, of course. But these guys.
That's what people like Josie and stuff. You know what Josie will do? Josie will say, "Oh, and did you see their show today? They were talking about the N-word."
There you go. I know.
Yeah,
disclaimer.
That's what Josie would say.
I just, James has some good comments here that George
and
Bush
we don't ever allow
financing. He's right. Prescott Bush. And you will also find, guys, that there's a lot of ties between, the guys who actually financed Mr. Adolf there. Many of them happen to also be from the same ethnic group he later targeted. There's a lot of corporations that were going back and forth between America, England, Germany, Russia at the time. I mean, there's a lot of, it's really sick when you look at who's behind things at times, and it lets you know how much our history is controlled by the people who tell it to us because they tell the version they want. When you start to find out that they, the intermarriage between these elites, it makes you sick that regular men died in battle for some of this stuff.
Callie G says, my father spent 4 years in San Quentin for growing weed. Back in the 60s, a lot of guys were in jail for growing weed. Listen, Charles Wolf. Charles Wolf says, stop cutting JC off because you're scared you're not going to get monetized. Charles Wolf, first of all, I don't even think about being monetized on shows like this. The only thing that I'm going to be monetized for would be commercials, which is minimal at least. That's not my thing. Now, if you're going to go back to FBS and go, FBS, you know what I said to Lee? There you got your material. James, wow, didn't you know that? Okay, I'm sorry. That's right, Anthony. The mob did get involved in manipulating Forex rates. My friend got pinched. Okay, so all of a sudden, the stuff that I'm saying, people are coming up with some facts. So where is this other guy that said no, I was wrong? My Don Vito asks the best questions. There's talk for years that the Genoveses are. Oh yes,
He's right.
I always
That's
yeah.
who's doing it.
And the Genovese are by far the smartest.
Yeah,
Always
that's
tough.
why they're still somewhat around, because they were smart enough to know that violence isn't going to work, and that you got to do crimes that pay big with smaller amounts of time, so that less ratting, less ratting with less time.
Okay, we'll just get some more. What if Lee Cole? Did you catch the stream? Remember I did that rat Pasqua, that cam footage. It was cool. Yeah. Let me tell you something. Pasqua's got to be the biggest idiot of all time. Do you realize that he basically gave one statement and then he gave another statement and said that his father was at a murder scene and did a killing, and he told the FBI that another story. Pasqua is one of the reasons why you will not see snitches with their own shows on here anymore. Anybody that's owned by the government's not going to let on here no more. Pasqua and Panisi are going to be responsible for it because they didn't know when to shut their mouths. They overspoke. And now the FBI is not going to let that because they made the FBI look like idiots.
I think the FBI is going to start putting it in their plea deals that they can't go on social media, and that way they're forced to sign it in court, which means it's perjury and a whole bunch of other charges if they don't follow their terms. So
Obama, without a doubt. No. I'm not saying that. I'm saying when Obama was in office, he couldn't get away and do what they're doing now. Back then, it could be stopped. Now it can't be stopped.
The truth, that may be somewhat true, but at the end of the day, Obama was nothing more than a puppet himself. He was casted straight out of Central Casting, Madison Avenue in New York, or Rodeo Drive in Hollywood, or Beverly Hills. Couldn't have picked a better guy for that role at that time. They picked him.
Along perfect time.
How do you think a junior senator from Illinois managed to become president in 2 years? A guy who was a state senator, by the way, up until that. And then if you look at how he got into the U.S. Senate that year, a lot of shifty stuff was done behind the scenes at the Illinois Republican Party to move his best competitors out of the way so that Obama could walk in. And if you look at the debates, Obama lied through his teeth. He said he was against same-sex marriage. He was he did all kinds of conservative he was against illegal immigration. You look at the debate, you think you was hearing a Republican talking. And that's not what he did, because he was controlled by the banking elites. Their goal is not to, their goal is a new world order ultimately. And that's what they're going to get.
Country being destroyed from all angles, without a doubt it is. Antonio says, all Italians loved Eisenhower when he was president, when the immigrants arrived here. Yeah, it's, I have no issues with immigrants arriving here, none whatsoever. These poor people coming across the border now, but it's not those people that are the issues. It's the people that are committing the crimes when they're coming over, loading them up with drugs, leaving dead bodies in the. You got ranches. I'm here in Texas, and I can tell you, they got ranches all along the borders where those poor ranchers get up every day, and you know what they find on their property? Dead babies, dead little kids, and the media doesn't talk about that. And
one of the things we always have to remember is that the same globalist types that are screwing up America was doing it to their countries as well, which is one reason why they're so poor they can't even eat anymore. And so if we really want to, do right by immigrants, quote unquote, the best thing we can do is stop damaging their countries. If we didn't bomb places, they wouldn't come here.
Okay, so this guy's claiming he's Mob Show report. Mob Show, I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to drop a link. Do you have enough guts to come on here? I'm going to give you a link. I'm going to invite you, okay? And let's see if you have enough guts to come on here so we could talk about your past a little bit, but you're a coward, dude. You won't come on here. You're always claiming how smart you are and stuff. So come on here right now. There it is. There's the link right there. And you can have a discussion. We can have a three-way discussion. And you can tell me how scummy I am. Okay? You're like a joke, dude. It's so obvious where you. Then he says politicians are supposed to be career 4 years and out. Well, 4 years, I don't, maybe 8 years. I think that some politicians you need more than 4 years.
Yeah.
But you are.
Term limits doesn't work. We put term limits in California years ago, and you know what happened is the special interests figured out that they could just get them ready for the next job. So they go from county for 4 years to the state rep, then back to the city. They go all over now. They get traded around like, you know, like a used, you know what, and they get sent around to wherever. And then the other thing is the staffers in Sacramento, they are now the controlling class, because anytime someone new comes in, they're going to be gone in just 2 or 3 terms. So they have to rely upon staffers to negotiate and get through Sacramento. And that's what happens is the staffers end up having all kinds of power, and then it gets even worse. So, you know, as George Carlin said, the SHIT, they shuffle around every 4 years. Doesn't matter. It's just going to get the same round of crap somewhere else. And he's right.
Jenny says, Francis says the mob love Democrats because they're easy to manipulate. I think that's quite obvious. Anthony Ramondi says the truth 100%. And this is, Obama couldn't get away with what Biden is doing now. But if he could have, he would have. Bingo. I couldn't have said it better. It's the truth. Back then, Obama couldn't get away with it. Now he would be able to get away with it. Especially when you have a big jerk like the head of the Republican Party that's siding with him on half the stuff they want to do. How many high-profile media members are working with the government? Who knows? It's obvious, you know. Just look at the newscast when you know, it's quite obvious. All of a sudden, a bunch of political questions are coming in.
Tony V is right, though. And it's not really that the journalists work for the politicians. It's the politicians, the journalists, all work for the bankers.
Okay.
And for the guy who said I was anti-SEMETIC for saying Rothschilds, I'll say Rothschilds again. Rothschilds Inc., pal. Live with
how you doing,
it. Deal with it.
Oh, Vinny, maybe Vinny will come back. I thought he was coming on. Okay. Antonio, I see you down there, but I don't see a face. I don't like to say. Okay. So yes, the phone cards were big in the 1990s too. Many didn't work. You'd get a busy signal. That's it. That's the mob. They didn't care. Hopefully Vinny will come back. He was getting a bad reception. Lee Cole missed a lot of Mob 2 vids. Who is that mob show report, and why is he obsessed with you? What it is he's old lackey of. I'm going to bring up the.
Oh, here we go.
Hey, JC.
Hey, Brooklyn guy.
How are you? How you guys doing?
Good. Good to see you, buddy.
Good to see you. How are you?
Somebody has their stuff on. Let's. Good. So what you doing?
Nothing much. I have to put a disclaimer out there because I saw a couple of comments that Tom had drank too much on the show. Tom was on a business trip last night. I begged him to come on. He told me, listen, I'm 3 sheets to the wind. And I said, come on, just come on. So that was on me. That's my bad. You know, anybody that knows Tom, he's not.
Oh, that's fine, though.
What?
He does, but he doesn't have to explain why.
Well, a bunch of chat people,
Yeah,
and I
he's a
thought they
grown
thought
man.
that I was doing it. I didn't want them to think I was doing it.
You know, they give me crap too, Brooklyn. If I even have a Heineken in my hand, I have to.
Who has somebody has something to
Tom can do what
say.
he wants. You know,
Yeah.
Tom's a good guy.
Yeah. Oh, he's excellent. Very bright.
So what do you think of that show that you're doing with him, Benny?
I love it. You know, Lee, I'm not a content guy, if you notice. I usually go off the top of my head because when I started this, it was we spoke about feeling better, that you went through problems, I went through problems. So for me to deal with the chat was more important than me just putting a video up, because a video does nothing for me. I want to interact. So I'm very comfortable in that kind of setting where I'm just bouncing off people. And we did it very impromptu, and it worked. It seemed to work. People seemed to like it. So we're going to try to hone it into certain genres. And I think
I'm sorry to interrupt, Brooklyn guy, but someone in the chat said that you're echoing and to maybe turn your speaker down slightly.
You know, I hear it too, but I have everything else turned off. Let me see if I put headphones in.
Just keep the StreamYard on and turn off the volume on your YouTube page itself. Keep the StreamYard volume up so you can hear me and Lee.
Okay. Is that better?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
I hear you. Is that better?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, we still hear it, but we'll deal with it a couple.
Okay.
Yeah, it's better. It's a little bit lower.
You think
I hear
it's from
myself talking.
mine's echoing now?
Let me see.
That's what
if I
they're
can
saying,
fix
that
this.
mine's echoing. Okay. Let me try turning mine down.
Oh,
Is that better?
Go ahead.
Is that
Okay.
better?
go. Yeah. Let me say yes. Yes, it is,
Okay.
because you got your headphones on. Let me ask you a question.
Sure.
Now, this show that you're doing with Tom, do you now you went to his house and visited him, or
Yeah. Yeah.
how was that? I mean, was he the kind of guy you expected and stuff?
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. He's very bright, and he warms up very quickly to you. I think that's the Italian thing, the upbringing, and not to disparage anyone else, but I think because I'm Italian, he's Italian, we had a lot in common. We saw we had a lot in common right away. I think you could read JC like that. You meet someone and you know, oh, I could never be friends with this guy. I could be, cordial, but I can never get close to someone. Then there are people you meet and you say, oh, they get it. They get what I'm about, and I get what they're about. And that was right off the bat with him. And I was very fortunate. And I thought I'd like him. That's why I went out there.
Well, I like your show because it's none of the BS. It's a very friendly show. When
Yeah.
you do that, a couple guys, four guys getting along, and unfortunately, you see the insanity of everything else.
Oh, yeah.
And,
A lot of insanity.
yeah, I got a guy doing a show tonight. I got a guy that comes on your show, mob show. He has a show coming on tonight where it says how we can get rid of Lee Cole too.
I saw that.
Good.
I saw that. I tell you about Al. I told Al right off, the problem that he had was anytime you have your name mob affixed to your description or your title, he walked right into a mob war. There was a mob war going on. He had that mob put on his description, and automatically people are going to think, I don't care what you say about reviewing shows, they're going to think that you are involved in the genre. And then when he had a guest on,
But he's already, but Tony, he's already taken sides.
well, you know what? I don't know if it's for views. I don't know if he got caught up in it and then he didn't realize
He
what
worked.
he was doing.
He worked for John A. Well, he has. This is his third show he's had. He had a show originally where he attacked me and FBS, and that's when he was all about John A. Light. And then he had a second channel. He shut that down, and this is his third channel.
Wait,
So the guy
Al,
just sounds
the
like
mob show. The mob show report,
Yes.
Al. I didn't know we
he
had
used to
other
have
channels.
another.
Yeah, me neither.
Yes,
I
yes,
didn't
he
know
did.
that. Oh,
I showed the proof. I put it up. I put it up. What he said,
Oh,
his
I
very
know that.
first show, and then he kept shutting down. He knows what he's doing.
Oh,
The
I
guy, he doesn't have the look. He has to learn. He doesn't have the look. If you don't have the look, and if you don't know, if you're taking sides and you're not presenting yourself correctly, you're never going to make it doing this. And that's what it comes down to. It's like your growth is small, but the people that
Yeah.
are going to join your show are going to stay there because they like what you're presenting.
I hope so.
So that's the difference. Well, that's exactly what's going to happen. You're going to see that too. I think you're just going to take off eventually.
Well,
How many
you know-
subs are you at right now?
near 600. You know what it is, Lee? I never envisioned myself ever having 1,000 sub super chats because I don't throw the red meat out there like other people do. And people have to understand there are so many content providers and people take sides. You know, if you're watching The Sopranos and there are 50 shows on, you don't say, "Oh, I don't like that one. I'm not going to watch that anymore because I'm true to this one." No, this is entertainment, and people don't get it. Now, it goes too far with Tony Pizza screaming at people and stuff. But you know what? It what it is, it's entertainment that goes too far. How many times have you had joking around with your friends and all of a sudden it got into a brawl at a party? This is what happens, and we
With Tony, I bet that happened often.
we take the chance.
Well, if you
And
want to piss
people-
Tony off, just send him $1.
well, he went after me. I heard. Now I know. Now I know.
That was a slick move by Calandra, though. Sending him and Calandra said I sent him $100 one time and I sent him 100 pennies the next.
Oh my God. You know, it's interesting. You know, you made it, Lee, when you're not in this genre. And he even mentioned me. I didn't go back because it was a 2-hour thing, but one of my friends on the chat told me that he said, "Yeah, you got busted and probably had a nervous breakdown, or you had a nervous breakdown." I said, "Tony, you must have read the report because you were right." I don't give a shit what he says. I don't root anyone, Lee, to be in a car. I don't care. Listen, it got a little crazy when you started attacking FBS's wife because I'm a friend of both of them. But I have to tell you, I don't root anyone to live homeless. That's just me.
No.
I don't care. Let him live till 90 and be miserable. But I don't root for homeless people not eating. That's disgusting. That's humanity, you know, and we're worse than them if we think that it's okay. You know what I mean?
I just want to answer this real quick. Shinebox, I like Lee, but I think he has trouble seeing or reading the comments. Anthony, actually, I have a lot of comments. You got to understand. Right now, when we have like 170 people here at one time, we have like maybe 500 comments. You know, I'm not going to get to every comment. And if I remember correctly, Anthony, I read about 3 or 4 of your comments. So it's not that easy. I mean, and you know, and that's what you'll hear, Vinny. You'll hear the mocking, "Oh, Lee shows," and stuff. But whenever I do a live, I always have 170, 200 people. You know, so
Yeah.
you know, that's the fact.
I just think all you guys can get along and have successful shows. I really do. And I think you've all been culprits at one time or another. I'm being honest with you. But you know what? I think if you all just said
I've never done
tonight-
anything wrong. I'm innocent.
well, well, that's your opinion. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. But I think if everyone
Yeah.
said tonight,
He's joking with you.
I know. If everyone said tonight,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
it. I think you'd still have your subscribers.
Yeah, you know.
I think it just has to stop.
Yeah.
Well,
Hopefully
you know-
it does after this. Hopefully the other folks say, "Hey, you know, we're done attacking Lee and we're going to do our shows." But
Hey,
do you
I
think
already
that's gonna
said.
happen in Brooklyn.
JC, this would be great
yeah.
because if it stops tonight, I can take credit for saying it.
Yes.
Maybe I'll
yes,
get some subs.
Yes, that's right, my friend. And you
Tony,
know what? If
I already
there's
made the
somebody
all-
should listen
Tony.
to, it's you, because you've demonstrated that you're in it for the love of the genre. You're not, you know, you don't need to have the money. You're not
No.
begging for money, and you've been neutral with everybody.
I've tried.
And you're not on their side or Lee's side. You're on your own side. And so if there's anybody they should respect, your words should be what they should listen to.
I appreciate that. Now, listen, there are wise guys out in the street that were with different families. I know a bunch of them. And when the war happened in 91, what are you supposed to not be I can't talk to you anymore because you're
Right.
a Columbo guy? Listen, takes a lot of dancing around, and you have to be able to navigate that road because it's bumpy, JC. But the bottom line is, it is what it is. I have friends on here that I've made. People say I'm up FBS's ass. Yeah, I am. You know why? Because I was going to quit my channel. I had a really bad day. I was out of my meds, and I was going to quit it. And I went down to my son to say, "Don't order the Logitech camera. I don't need it." And he said, "What's the matter?" I said, "I'm just not doing this." The phone rang. It was him. He answered my email. Only one that answered any of my emails. because I sent a few out. I didn't send one out to you, Lee. I sent a couple out, and he said, "What's the matter? What can I do to help?" And I said, "Would you consider being on my show?" Because he was rising at that time. He goes, "Absolutely." He goes, "Whatever I could do." How can I not like someone like that?
Oh,
Now,
absolutely.
now, the mob
Absolutely.
genre has a problem with him because he's gone back and forth with them. They have every right, if they're going back and forth, to be mad at people. But I have no reason to be mad at anybody. So when I had Lee on my show, a couple of people said, "Oh, you had Lee on your show?" Yeah, I did. He never knocked me.
Yeah.
Now, if he started cursing out someone, I'd get rid of him just like you would, or he would to me. But you know what? The bottom line is, I'm not a mob
that's it.
genre guy. I'm not going to make believe I hate people so someone will love me.
Hey,
Yeah. And you did well, Brooklyn. And,
Jason-
you know,
Jason-
what you know here reminds me of how things were out here. We had to, I had to navigate between the different groups for the interests of the mob in our drug business. I had to make sure we got along.
Right.
I was to prevent fights. And I can tell you were around.
let me
these
show you
guys.
something. Wait,
You're doing the same thing now.
I'm
You don't
trying.
want this.
I'm trying.
okay, give me 1 minute. I want to show you something. Mob Show Report. Someone said this Mob Show Report, why do you continually go after Lee? And here's his answer. This is what a creep this guy is. It is because I can. That's Mob Show. That's the guy that shows up in your show and you think he's a nice guy. That's his answer.
I never saw that though. I never saw
And
that.
you know, but this is what he's been doing it. You haven't seen him attacking me all the time on his show?
Today
He does
I
on a
did.
basis.
I have today. I did.
No, read any of his old shows.
I never saw what the old shows
Destroy
recently.
Lee, Neil. That's all he talks about.
Because the
all
other
the
night
shows.
he was watching
All you got
Belmont
to do
the
is
other
read.
night.
I'm not talking about Belmont. That's the other shows. See the big picture.
I'm gonna have
That's
to
all
take a
I'm
look
trying
and
to
go
say.
back.
Go
I'm
to
gonna
his
go back.
channel. Go to his channel. Read the YouTube thumbnails, and
Okay.
you'll see in the thumbnails where he's literally saying, "Let's destroy Lee." Literally destroy. That's the word he's using. Put a nail in his coffin. Get him. Now that Tony's gone, let's get rid of Lee.
How do you
That's
think
what
that
he wrote
happened?
today.
But how do you think that started?
Because he's a simp. What he does is he decides who he's going to side with, just like he did with John Alite. And now he's siding with everybody that doesn't like me. Okay, and that's what he's doing because he wants to be on the right side. We realize he's losing respect of the people that watch the shows. That's why his channel will never grow, and that's why Josie's channel will never grow. Because when you pick one person to attack, your show's not going to grow.
No, I
See, me, I'll anybody. I don't.
JC, my father taught me a long time ago. Don't tell people how you're doing because 50% are rooting against you and 50% don't give a shit. And you know something? I go on that premise. But you know what? I've met so many wonderful people. I have to tell you, Lee, one of the reasons I'm glad I didn't go into the mob genre, I don't have a lot of trolls. And a couple of trolls were really going after me. They said, I read your arrest report. It was only $1 million club and all this and 10%. I said, yeah, but you didn't see the 300 people I had in the islands. That they didn't talk about. But I said, you know what? I told Carlos, I don't know why I thought Carlos was going to bang him out. Maybe he said, oh, Carlos is going to. I said, Carlos, let him talk. He's entitled to talk. You know something? The guy said, thank you, Vin, and never bother me again. So there are ways to handle these people. Now, some are going to dislike you. People dislike people for any reason.
Go.
Yeah,
go,
and you know what, Brooklyn? The reality
go into that.
they interpret words whatever way they want, depending on how they feel about you. That you could use the same sentence to the same person. If they like you, they interpret it one way. If they don't like you, they take those same words and do it elsewhere. You know, in Brooklyn, you're right. These trolls, you know, they were on me all summer saying, oh, you live in your mommy's basement. I never responded because, like Lee said earlier, some things you don't respond to, other things you have to, like the child thing with him. But I didn't respond about my house or whatever. I don't need to brag to flipping trolls. And then as soon as I did show off, you know, one or two rooms, only to my fans, by the way. The same trolls were like, well, yeah, you have a nice house, but how come you didn't dust your pool table off before filming? You know, they're getting nitpicky and crap like that, meaning you can't please them, so don't try.
JC, I think people are also
Okay,
intimidated by
okay,
intelligence.
hold up one second, guys.
Go ahead, Lee.
Hold up one second. I got to read a couple of things in here. That's the most important thing, guys. I understand what everyone can, though. This guy says I got blocked. Saying you, I don't know who blocked you because
If
only
you're
two
blocked,
people can
how's
block
your
you right now.
statement on
Me,
there?
Oh, he's talking about my channel, I think.
Yeah, I don't think you're blocked, dude.
No, I think he's talking about on my channel.
Did you have Carlos?
No, you know, can I tell you
Oh,
something?
you know
Lee?
Carlos blocks people for
My
almost
hand
nothing.
to God, I didn't even know how to block people for a very long time because I was on StreamYard. When you're on YouTube, you can block people. On StreamYard, I don't know how to block people because you go to the three dots, it doesn't say block. So when I started using StreamYard, I had no idea how to block people. And some people went after me, in fact, a couple of weeks ago, where someone said, Vinny, you have to have moderators. I didn't know how to even give someone a wrench at that time. You'll see a couple of weeks back, a couple of people slammed me. I didn't know how to do it. So finally, when I was on YouTube and I saw that you could put wrenches, I did that. And I'll have to talk to them because I don't care if people knock me. You know why, Lee? Being bipolar and JC, I realize how far I've come where I used to go fucking nuts, and now I look at them and laugh. So the trolls can come because they don't realize they're only making me feel better.
They're reinforcing the fact that you are reformed and your life has moved forward and you're more mature now.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Lee, I have a show at 4:30. I have to run. Thank you so much for having me on. And JC, it was wonderful meeting you.
Anything.
Thank you too, Brooklyn. Anytime I'm gonna be waiting a bit, and then I'm gonna be relaunching this channel the way it should be.
Okay.
And once I do, I'll definitely talk with you about having you.
I'd love it.
Come on with us.
I'd love it.
You're a good guy, bro.
Lee, take care of yourself. I hope you're feeling better. How's your partner, by the way?
You too.
Is your partner okay?
She's still very sick, and she's still in.
Christ.
Still very sick, and she's still in critical condition.
Well, she'll be in my prayers.
But I don't like to
Feel
talk
better.
about that on here.
Okay.
Well, I appreciate that. I don't like to talk about that on here because people make up false shit. You know,
well, they're
so you gotta be
douchebags.
careful about your personal life.
I know. Take care, buddy.
Well, you take care of it. I'm gonna.
One, okay, Brooklyn.
you.
Enjoy.
Okay, I'm gonna shut the show down.
All right. Thanks for having me on as well, Lee.
Busy.
And for you haters out there, I will come back on the more that you complain. So keep complaining, and I'll gladly join Lee again.
Yeah, and Anthony, I got a wrench, and he has a wrench. That's enough. In order to get kicked out of here, you really got to be nasty. We're not going to be like other channels and just block people.
Yeah, well,
because
like
they
Lee
don't
said,
like somebody.
Any of these
it's
guys
not
that
like we say
stack,
we say something.
still
They have
comment.
the angel. Yeah.
Hey, I appreciate the
some
good
people-
comments, by
I
the
don't
way,
care
that
what
I'm
you guys
seeing
say to
at
me,
the
it's
bottom
not-
there. Thank you, guys.
Okay, guys. You guys take care.
Thumbs up.
I'm
Hey,
going to
hit
close
the,
out the show.
hit
It's
the
been
like
2
button,
hours.
share.
Please hit the like buttons. And thanks a lot for coming on the show. I really appreciate it, Jason.
All right, you guys
Great
have a
like
good
always.
one.
And please go to JC. Go to JC's
It'll
channel.
be Mob
please.
Entertainment Group, and we're going to be. Look, you know what? For the people who really hate Gene Borello, guess what? I'm going to start reading his book 1 or 2 pages at a time on the channel, just for you haters, just for you guys. But this will be anyone who's doing positive things in this genre can come on to the network, and we can, as long as you're pushing positive stuff, no more negative stuff will be allowed, to dwell on that, because it's just bad for everybody. So thanks again, Lee. I'm going to get running too. Okay.
Okay. You take care. And remember what I said, people. It's up to them whether they want to stop this thing. If they just leave me alone, don't say nothing to me. I don't say nothing to nobody. It's up to them, but they're not going to stop it. That's not what they want. Everybody take care of